Okay, I'll reload it.
Can I just ask you something? I mean, what do you think keeps a world like this is shit together? It's not magic. It's not. It's rules. It's people abiding by the terms of the deals that they sign themselves. It's rules. You know what's more important than the rules, though? It's the enforcement of those rules. I mean, we got a responsibility, you and me. I mean, what we do, I mean, maybe it's small, I don't know, but it matters. It matters.
Off me, bitch, get up off me, homes, get up off me, bitch, get up off me, homes, get up off me, bitch, get up off me, homes, get up off me.
I got that lean in the club, bitch, I don't give a fuck, we tear the club up quick with them Tennessee thugs. I'm a made motherfucker, I got these youngsters tripping, banana clipping, kilo flipping, promethazine sipping, you cocksuckers can't fake me. Bobo Luchiano, pimpin' flossy.
What's going down, peoples? D-Town in effect, it's your boy Bobo Luchiano, representing Dallas to the fullest, Oak Cliff, Texas, Singing Hills, Texas, sunny South Dallas. Y'all know how we do it. It's a, conglomerate of people, you know what I'm talking about? I'm down with my city. S.E.J in the building. What's up? Well, talk about, first of all, I want to say what's up to everybody in Dallas, you know. Like I said, I want to give much love to the youngsters that's out here doing their thing right now. You know, people like Duro, Tria Lee, Prince Rick, you know, pretty much, all the youngsters that's got this D-Town boogie thing going. Lil Will, the whole clique, much respect. Get that money, people. You know what I'm talking about? But I guess you could say, I've been around since the infant days of the rap scene in Dallas. I guess it all started back, I really want to go into detail, if you got enough tape, because, basically how hip hop, I can say I was blessed to see hip hop start, and rap form and down south music take off. Being in high school, things that I don't think the kids are doing right now that probably maybe could help them. It's basically just getting into the roots and the heritage of the rap culture. Basically, I started off, I was in high school, I was a youngster, I say probably early on dealing with, how hip hop was in its beginning stages. So it was cool, everybody was, it was fun-hearted, light-hearted, we really just was out having a good time, and being high school students at that time, we could throw parties, and the DJ at the party would be a fellow high school student, getting a lot of notoriety, rocking parties and dances, as we used to call them back in the day. But my sister used to date a fella that was in a DJ crew, it was like 2 or 3 DJs, and one of the DJs, the guy's name was General Jam. We know this gentleman, rest in peace, his name was Big Al, Albert English, so back then there was 2 turntables and not your Serato or these CDJs and things like that. Technology is taking over, but back then that was the, like I said, the infant stage of rap, and that's really how rap began, 2 turntables and a mic. So I was real impressed by that, and that really affected me. And I can remember my brother had, there was a club, we used to have teenage clubs back in the day. So there was a club up here in Oak Cliff. There were several clubs, but this one in particular was right up here in Oak Cliff, off on Polk Street, Polk and Camp Wisdom. It was a movie theater up there called Aquarius. Everybody used to, hang out up there, chill on Camp Wisdom at the car wash and everything. But the club was pizzazz, and my brother was going out auditioning to be a DJ. And at that time, Big Al had already solidified the job as DJ. Well, my brother came in and impressed some of the the owners and everything, so his name ended up being DJ Snake. So at that time, him and Al linked up and they kind of double teamed, doing parties, and that's how I basically got started. But from there, I'm gonna fast forward to going off to college. I went up here to North Texas State University, and I can remember staying in Kerr Hall. Well, it's UNT right now. It was called North Texas State University back then up here in Denton, Texas. I can remember staying. I had my own room 747 in Kerr Hall. From my childhood stage, from my childhood years, should I say, with Johnny Rogers, he had moved to Richardson and went to Richardson Berkeley, and he had a friend. I can remember this guy that was always rapping, always freestyling. We knew this guy. I don't know, where he came from. I just know he went to school with him, but he needed a place to stay, and I happened to have my own room, so ended up moving in. Small world that this guy had hooked up with my unknowingly with my brother and them. They were in a rap group called Something Fresh at that time, and at that time my brother Snake and Big Al, they had gotten the third member, the Casanova Rock. They were called the All Hearted Death Party Show. They used to they were the first people, I would say, to bring rap to Dallas as a international, national thing, scene or theme, should I say, because they had already gotten jobs on the radio. They were on KNON 89.3. I'll fast forward and talk about that later on in this interview. And they were on Wednesday nights. It was the All Hearted Death Party Show, and everybody in the city would just tune in to hear rap music that you had never heard before. I'm talking about things like T-La Rock, Public Enemy. They were the first people to ever play NWA, Eazy-E, anything that MC Shan, Booger Down Productions. I'm talking about things that you couldn't hear on K104 or at that time 100.3. So, make a long story short, they were to find out that Snake was my brother, and they had already solidified, kind of like we're gonna have a rap crew. That was, like I said, small world and a huge coincidence. Later on, that rap group switched their name to Nemesis, and they were actually the first rap group to sign major label here in Dallas. They were signed to Profile Records, same record label that Run DMC was held on, so for many years. So that was huge, and at that time they were, selling 200, 300,000 copies of records. They actually, how they got their start, they actually produced their own album independently. Back then it was wax, and you had your cassettes. It was way before CDs had even came into the picture. And they sold, over 25, 30,000 copies in the streets, and they made a lot of noise. They had a song called Last Night. That propelled them to sign with Profile Records out of New York City. Come to find out, that was a huge step for the city, because selling that kind of records was, we didn't know that was reaching other states and getting nationwide notoriety. My brother, he was a DJ. He got a lot of notoriety. He had hooked up with a young guy out of California named Ron C. They had started making CDs, and he also signed to Profile Records. Well, being that we were, DJing in clubs and things like that, I had hooked up with Ron C just clowning around one day. He brought me on board to be his hype man. He ended up going, doing some time in the jail. Everybody know about that. But I stayed here, and when he got out of jail, we hit the road, with the See album, and we was on tour with Too Short, things like that. That's why I came in affiliation with UGK. They had just signed, I would say, 1993 with the Tell Me Something Good movement, and it was pretty hot. When they dropped Pocket Full of Stones on Menace to Society, that really propelled them to another level. Well, we befriended each other a lot of you folks know, but UGK was recording their albums here in Dallas, out there at the Sound Lab in Irving, Las Colinas, should I say. But I was approached by them to come on board as their hype man on their tour, and I did that from late '93 all the way to the end of '95, beginning of the '96 stages. At that time, that's when I moved back to Dallas. I came back for my son's birthday party. Ended up in October. Ended up staying. They were recording the classic album Riding Dirty, so I was in Port Arthur, living down there by myself while they was on the road. So I got homesick. I came back to Dallas to see what I could get popping and visit my family. I had a tragedy in the family. My little boy ended up, dying in a house fire along with 3 other youngsters, siblings. Rest in peace, Lil John. You know, I love you, baby. But yeah, that's and you can remember that story on UGK's One Day You're Here, Next Day You're Gone. You know, Pimp C made a mention of that in his verse. Well, as I'm in Dallas, I started making moves my own. I started doing radio drops and radio songs for the DJs, KK Holiday, Broadway Joe, that were DJs from 6 to 10 on K104. That propelled me to just start working, doing little underground CDs and just working, grinding, trying to get the movement going, get my name out there. My little brother and them, they were in a group out of my hood. They were called Triple OC. Well, I had hooked up with, doing songs with them, and then I was approached by Big Al from my past. And Big Al was like, man, let's put an album together. I said, cool, I'll put an album together, with you. So I did all the writing, I co-produced it, I starred on every song. But the last song we did, I almost didn't make the album. And that song was called Already. And no one was really saying already, I had, gotten that term for being on the road in Houston and everything. So I said, I'm gonna, make a song about this word that I think we can pop off in Dallas. Did that song, everybody loved it. They was playing it on K104. They was playing it all over the place in the clubs and everything, and it popped. Well, I got a lot of notoriety from that song to where I started doing my own thing. That's when I recorded Enemy of the State. The album Enemy of the Motherfucking State, as we call it here in Dallas. I had solidified a job on KNON 89.3. It was at the infant stage, I keep using that term, of the Southern rap movement that jumped off and hit pretty hard. I figured that, all the radio stations had really dropped hip-hop, what I'm saying? They had went straight R&B. K104 was straight R&B, and 97.9 hadn't even come into existence yet. So I said, well, we got this niche to where we could, just have an all-rap show. So me and Big Al, we went up there and we got us a job. Big Al, later on, wanted to pursue, I guess he was going to resurrect the Nemesis name and do an album. So he pursued that avenue, and I decided, well, we got something going. It was at that time, it was me, Big Al, DJ Fish, and my now fiance Jazzy K. And that's my baby right there. You know what I'm saying? Hey. Too much camera time for my baby.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to? Okay. Cool, she on there. Yeah, but anyway, Jazzy K, that's my fiance. We about to, tie this old knot. But anyway, we that ended up being larger than what I anticipated it being. We ended up doing 8.5 years of that. But I guess what kind of coexisted with that, the album dropped, Enemy of the State. And I had done a song with UGK, and people were kind of starving for UGK at the time. It was probably about 2 or 3 years, well, really about 4 years since they had, dropped the album. They were hot from the Big Pimpin' single with Jay-Z and the Sippin' on That Serve single with 3 6 Mafia. And then I hit them with a song that was called Bitch Get Up Off Me. That ended up being a huge regional success. When I say regional, I mean it crossed, Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Memphis, pretty much everywhere. That ended up landing me a distribution deal with South by Southwest wholesale down in Houston, Texas, which pretty much all the independent labels were doing. I had started my own label. It was Rogus Life Entertainment, and they liked the way we were handling business. Moving units ourselves. And I was doing the everyday grind and going to the radio stations, Radio Day. I was going to the clubs, making sure that the DJs were serviced. Basically, I was acting as the artist, the A&R, CEO of the company, and I guess they liked the way that we were stores, doing everything. Peace out to my boy Ed and Cap over there at the Bomb. Peace to my boy George Lopez out there at Tea Time Music and more. They were very instrumental in getting me to the next level with that song. Basically, that song took me to other avenues to where I probably wouldn't have been able to get to without that song, and it was strictly a blessing. But then that propelled the radio show to be larger than what what anybody anticipated to be. And what my idea of the radio show was, I wanted to help local artists. Basically, I didn't have a playlist. I didn't have a program director. I played what I wanted to play. We hit on with a lot of comedy, a lot of things, lighthearted, humor that people found, I guess, entertaining at the time. We had Jazzy K on the Bobo Report. We had DJ Fish with the Rap News, and I oversaw the production and everything to do with the show. And it lasted 8.5 years, and I think it really propelled the Dallas rap scene to the next level, because we didn't have a voice at that time. 97.9 started around that same time. 104 was not playing any local artists. It was, they had stopped playing my songs. They had stopped playing Pook and Lucci songs. It was just, a good look for the city at that time. But, I thought it was an avenue that needed to be addressed, and I addressed it, but I didn't think it was going to blow like it did. And, like I said, 8.5 years strong, and I kept doing that until, got to an age where I had to, move on with my life as far as raising my family and my daughters, and, taking care of business and taking care of me. But at that same time, years prior to that, Pimp C had introduced me. They had a show here in Dallas. He introduced me to a young cat that went to school in Southern University out in Baton Rouge, but he was from Dallas, Pleasant Grove. And he told me, I'm going to introduce you to the tightest producer that I know. Ended up being Steve Belo. Steve Belo did the bulk of my album, Enemy of the State, and to this day, he is still producing. I co-manage Steve Belo. Y'all want to get in touch with me, y'all check me out with that contact information I dropped off on y'all earlier. Just hit me up, and we can get some of those tracks to you for a reasonable price. And right now, me and Steve Belo and myself, we're about to kick off, I say, another independent label. And rap to me, I do a lot of research. I'm still heavily influenced by rap. I'm still heavily involved because I really look at something dealing with rap every day. And so I see where the trends are going, and right now the trends are not moving records. So I think it's because there's really no substance in the rap that's coming out now. Everybody, which is good to a point, but at some time you have to have some type of substance, some type of message, some type of storytelling in your song. Well, you can hit me up. Hit me on my cell phone. 214-883-2643. My email address is Bobo Luchiano 3 at yahoo.com. That's BOBOLUCHIANO, the number 3 at yahoo.com. Just hit me on my Facebook page. It's Mr. Bobo Luchiano. It's all good. If I know you, or you're doing some business in this entertainment business, I'll accept your friend request. So I'll let your boy, man. It's on and pop. Well, I want to rewind because, I did mention my radio show that we had that was really instrumental in putting a lot of artists on, and didn't mention the name of this radio show. If y'all want to look it up, it was called the Dirty South Block Party with Bobo and them, and y'all look that up. It was every Saturday night from 10 to midnight, can and win, all on your chin, baby. Y'all remember everything we did. It was a great movement. But right now, it's on to the future. I thought about giving up the entertainment business, but it's in my blood. Like I say, I've been doing this since the beginning, since the infant stage of rap. So I'm here to stay. I got a lot of projects that I want to touch on, and I got my management thing going on with Steve Belo. Y'all hit me up. Like I said, we here to make some money, make some major moves. Not only here to make money, but we're here to make a difference and try to make a difference in what the sound and the thought process of artists coming out of Dallas. And like I said, I want to say peace to all the artists that's making moves now. Let's get that money. Let's get that paper. Peace to everybody that helped me get to where I am.
Can't play me, Bobo Luchiano, pimpin' flossy Ferragamos. I can't fuck with you dumb hoes. So niggas cock your pistols, niggas